Welcome back to another episode of the RAG Report podcast, my daily bulletin show where I bring to you recruitment owners, advisors, suppliers, even investors around the world who are prepared to give up some of their time and expertise to help us all through the COVID-19 pandemic and just also bring to life what's going on in the sector every single day. Today, I'm excited to be joined by Pete Sanders. Pete is the co-founder of Identifi Global, who are a specialist in cybersecurity and tech and executive search recruitment, headquartered in Bletchley Park in Milton Keynes, which is the home of the code breakers in the war. I was reading about that in a recent book. A really exciting business, not too old in their journey, but have got a narrative which is all about candidate experience. When I first spoke to Pete, I was really taken aback by the way he explained how they do and what they do. So I wanted to feature him today and find out a bit more about that journey and how he's coping in what's going on. Before I do, a quick message from our sponsor today, which is Rise Recruitment Ventures. Rise are the newest investment business on the market. They're exclusively helping recruitment agencies grow and exit within a set time frame. Headed up by Alex Elliott and John Coxon, these guys built and sold their own business inside 10 years and sold in 2016 for over 20 million. They're now giving both capital and time and expertise to help the next generation build businesses that are world-class and sell for the right value at the right time. If you're interested in finding out if you could be a partner with these guys and if they could help you, then reach out to them directly via www.riserv.co.uk to find out more. Right, back to the show. Pete, welcome on the podcast.
Morning, how are you?
I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. It's a sunny day. It's a very hot day. And I'm about to go for a picnic after this conversation. So I can't complain.
Well, you're doing better than I am. I'm stuck in my really cold office and I'm desperate to get outside. So
cold? It's cold today where you are?
Well, no, my office is on the wrong side of the house, so
Right.
It doesn't get any sun. So everyone else, my kids and my wife, all sat in the garden getting a nice tan. And I've got socks on, which is weird.
Keep them on.
Yeah. But yeah, good to be joined.
Well, look,
good to be part of this today.
Well, look, I'm excited to have you on. Obviously, I've given you a little intro there, but I like to start the RAG report with a very simple question. For the listeners, you've already told us a bit about the room you're in, but can you just paint a picture for everyone? What's your life like right now?
Yeah, so we've done a lot of sort of challenging our nerve over the last few months and holding out, and there's lots of advice and guidance and but our sort of main sort of strategy, if you like, has been just to sit tight and not panic too much. We've shored up our business and we spent a lot of time, much like people have done at home, is sort of cutting back on costs that aren't needed. Really reviewing the things that we've been spending our money on and just really challenging in whether we need it or not, as well as obviously servicing some of our clients and trying to keep our staff sort of happy and checking in with them on a regular basis. So we've been through a whole roller coaster of, optimism, pessimism, panic, the lot. And I think the government's, starting to try and get things moving again is positive. So it's been a bit of all of those things really. It has been a roller coaster of emotions. We're at that stage now where we're using this time where things are reasonably quiet. We're using that time to really start to implement our 5-year strategy, which we started at the beginning of the year, and we're starting to bring that to the fore. So that when we do come back and that everybody is on that new journey, and some of that strategies has to be adjusted because of obviously the current situation. I'd
like to share with everyone that I think it's the worst thing you can do is to look at your previous P&L of what you expected in May 2020 before the COVID-19 hit, because it'll just make you cry. But going back to your business, I mean, as I said, one thing that struck me about you guys was this candidate focus, this candidate experience piece. Tell me a bit more about what that's all about, where it came from, how you execute on it.
Sure. So both my business and partner and I, we've both worked for small recruitment companies, large recruitment companies, and one of the things and why we came together really is one of the things that we sort of shared a view on was that excellent service is something that many recruiters pay lip service to, and not all. There's some really great ones out there, but they fail to deliver it. So it's a byline, you know. I mean, what self-respecting recruitment company wouldn't say that they look after their candidates and they provide a great service, but they're not able to determine what great service looks like. And as you'll know yourself, is that pretty much most recruitment companies, they're driven by the client. It's all about new clients, new jobs. You know, that's the metronome of their business, and rightly so. You know, but the problem is that they're too far down the road to be able to then go back and then re-engineer their business to be candidate focused. You know, we've all heard the stories: candidate short market, war for talent. You know, all of these horrible phrases. But you know, they are truisms, and so we decided to start the business and really focus on the candidate, because ultimately is that, you know, it's easy to get a job in you know, or was easy to get a job in the previous market. So why, you know, it didn't take any skill or experience to just ring round lots of people and say, can we help you with your job? Yeah, everyone's saying that we're a candidate short market, but yet no one's focusing on getting the candidate. So we decided to set our business up to be focused on candidate experience. And when we started, we developed all of our processes, even down to our commission model. Everything was built around candidate experience, and we created our candidate charter, which we asked candidates to measure our service based on that candidate charter.
Wow.
So we developed that on founding, and it's reviewed annually. And we do a big candidate journey work session with our business every year as part of our strategy to say, you know, what does the candidate want in today's recruitment market? So this fully measurable candidate charter forms the basis of our consultants commission, as well as obviously the processes, the tech, everything we do, whether it's from our marketing partner to our technology, to our CRM. Everything has to focus on, well, what does it add to our candidate experience? So it's a mantra, and as well as a philosophy within our business. So therefore we guarantee a truly candidate-led experience, because the consultants commission hangs on it, right? So and you know, what you will have seen, and I used to see all the time, is that, you know, you put 4 candidates forward to a job, you know, everyone gets, you know, a nice bit of service at the start, and then when, you know, you can sort of see through the process that, you know, the one candidate that's probably going to get the job, or the 1 or 2 candidates going to get the job, the other 2 get dropped like a bad smell, and then left hanging in the loop. And that's just the candidates in the process, right? So, you know, most companies will, you know, most recruiters will, you know, when you've got a candidate in an interview, look after them, but not always, sadly, and we've heard horror stories about that. But it's the candidates that apply for the job as well, the ones that have engaged with your brand. You know, you, as a recruitment company, we spend a lot of money on advertising and, you know, getting everyone, you know, attracting people into our business. And yet they apply for a job, and yet we don't speak to them, or we don't engage with them, or we don't do anything with them, and they just get left. And then we call them up, and, you know, 10 years down the line, and say, you know, I've got a job for you, and get annoyed when they're not bouncing off the walls to work with us. So so the whole ecosystem of what we do, and that includes, you know, we write content. All of our content is candidate focused. It's all around attracting candidates, giving self-help development. Our strategy is around, you know, helping them, you know, training, development, how to win jobs. So doing psychometrics, all of those sorts of things that help the candidate, even if they're not working with us. And that's the key thing, is that even if they're not working with us, there's a brand recognition that we've helped them along their career journey at some point. Hopefully we do place them, but so we built the business based on that, and it's worked for us. You know, we keep getting recommended into companies. So even if we haven't placed the candidate, they'll call us or they'll recommend us and say, you know what, I had a great experience with that company. You should talk to them if you're looking for a recruiter, for example. So, which means there's plus and minuses to that. One is that we haven't really done much business development over the last 4 years. You know, of course we've done some, but it's very rare you'll see a business development call being made in our business. Wow. You'll always see candidate experience. So all of our KPIs are built around that. So we've grown organically, and we've recognised that we don't need to do lots of business development, because when we do get a client, we tend to expand in there quite quickly.
So how have you managed to find clients then? If you're not making BD calls, what's the typical route that you would engage or get clients coming in?
Through recommendations. We will have placed a candidate and maybe they've moved on, maybe 2 years later or something like that. We're starting to see some of that now. But in the initial stages, we just did a really good job. We spent time talking to them, understanding their needs, their wants, and doing really good qualification calls with them. So when we do call them, we call them about relevant stuff, and we're not just spamming them with every job that we get because they've got the word security in their CV, for example. Obviously, our knowledge in that market helps, but it's come through there. And then every so often we will market our CVs in. That's the core part of our business development, if you like. Is that we've made all of these calls, and our mantra is you shouldn't really ever make a cold call because you've already spoken to the candidate, and then you've done a really good job with them. You provide them a really nice service. They've left with a good taste in their mouth once they've had an experience with us, whatever that may be. You can just call that person up and say, I see you're recruiting for this job, or I've got this great candidate. It sort of just comes together. They just it's very light touch, really, really light touch. And my business partner is a bit more business development focused, to his frustration, but we've been so busy up until now. It's almost like, why would you do business development? We're so busy doing the stuff that we're good at, and it's working for us. Why would we all of a sudden stop doing the delivery aspect of what we do to then just become business development focused, because we don't want to drop that candidate.
I think as long as your delivery focus is commercial, right? So you're not just working a role and then stopping when the role ends. As long as you're thinking about, well, by speaking to candidates, you're understanding where the opportunities are, what the businesses they're working for look like, and what's the environment like, how big are the teams, what are the growth plans. You can get so much information out of a candidate without saying who's your hiring manager and asking the basic old school questions.
Exactly.
That can fuel, like, for example, if you are speccing in, or whatever you call it, canvassing CVs into a business. Well, I know it at Hoxo, right? You could send me a long list of CVs that I wouldn't care about. I genuinely wouldn't care about. But there are some that I would always look at. And if you have that chat with me once, you'd know. And it's the same thing for every business. It's understanding the levers to pull on, and how consistent that will be. How do you then keep an eye on that piece you said around the candidates that don't get hired, the ones that sit in the process or don't even get to interviews off stage, but they've interacted? How do you make sure that process is replicable and it's consistent and it's measured?
Quite simply, automation. You don't have. It's physically impossible to speak to every candidate. It's physically impossible. And actually, as you'll know yourself, that there's a lot of candidates that are applying for jobs and they are wasting your time. They're not suitable, but they've applied for a reason, right? So they haven't just applied because they've got delusions of grandeur to get a job that's way out of their league or experience levels. They've engaged with your brand, so they've gone, okay, hopefully they're not stupid, but they've gone, I'm not really quite suitable for the job, but I like the brand, it's within my sector, maybe they can do something for me in the future. So they then fall into that ecosystem. So they would get an automation saying thank you, but no thank you, and then they fall into that sort of our content, and then they'll start to get regular updates from us, as well as our latest jobs as well. And therefore they want to stay up to date. They want to stay engaged with your brand. The minute you don't do that with them, they're open to anybody else. And what we have seen in terms of trends is that candidates are starting to attach themselves to a select few agencies. They're not going out there and just putting their CV on every job board like they used to, because that was the method of getting a job. They want to work with specialist recruiters, so they attach themselves to a few. They will almost like court with them and see how they're going. And if they don't get anything, now they've got the ability now to press a button and say remove my details. The candidate has the power now to do that. So if you don't respect that, and also you don't value that, then you're going to lose out on the candidate race. And whilst we'll see a small shift in power back towards the clients that are recruiting, over the next sort of maybe 9 months or so, it will come back again, because there's still more jobs than there are people, even in a downturn. So, particularly within our sector anyway. So, It's using that automation to stay in touch with them, even when you can't physically speak to them. But then if they're relevant, you then fall back in, the consultants are targeted in their specific sector. So eventually they'll get picked up, they'll get a conversation. So even if it's 3, 4, 5, 6 months down the line, they would have had several communications with us via email about, how to win at your next interview, or, the latest trends in cybersecurity or something along those lines. So when the consultant calls up, it's a warm call, first of all, because they recognize the brand. But then secondly, they will qualify them and understand what they need, and then they'll probably enter the recruitment process, or marketing process at that particular point.
A quick interruption of the episode to bring to you a message from our second sponsor, which is Odro. Odro, as most of you probably know, is the world's most powerful all-in-one video interview platform for recruiters. Used by thousands of recruiters worldwide and with some of the industry's biggest names amongst its client base, Odro is a video interview platform. It was developed specifically to help agencies increase their revenues. The most innovative solution on the market, Odro's software helps recruiters to engage more talent, reduce time to hire, and most importantly, it helps you win business. You'll even get the ROI back from investing in Odro within just 45 days. It's designed to benefit everyone in the process, so from recruiters to clients to candidates, Odro's platform is improving the hiring process one interview at a time. We chose to partner with Odro because we felt like both brands, Hoxo and Odro, were in such a clear alignment in the way that we approach everything we do and how passionate we are about helping this industry grow. If you want to find out more about how Odro can help your agency transform its process and win more business, win exclusivity and drive revenue, then click the link on the podcast notes and every social post that goes out, and you will get a call back by one of the Odro guys. They are awesome, and I'm sure they'll be able to offer some amazing value to your business. Thanks for listening. Let's get back to the show.
So when the consultant calls up, it's a warm call, first of all, because they recognize the brand. But then secondly, they will qualify them and understand what they need, and then they'll probably enter the recruitment process, or marketing process at that particular point.
I think it's so forward thinking. I mean, it sounds so basic, really, when you're looking at it, but it's so forward thinking that you've done that and you've embedded that already, because that's the kind of conversation we have all the time with our clients at Hoxo is, you are only a small team. There's only so many hours in the day, and you've still got to have the maximum bang for your buck when it comes to your brand perception, right? Your brand is everything in this market, especially now when COVID-19 hits. The branding you've got going into it and coming out of it, I think will determine how fast and how well you do after. I really do. And that leads me into then quite nicely thinking about what has happened for you. What was life like going into lockdown, and what happened afterwards?
Yeah, so we were, as I mentioned, we were doing our 5-year plan, and we had some really great aspirations, and we've had to curtail them a little bit. But and it was almost a perfect storm, because we were gearing up for IR35 as well. We have quite a good contract business, and some companies, annoyingly, who were sort of ahead of the game, started to cut contractors or re-engage them in different ways, and so we lost some contractors in that part of the just before the pandemic, and then obviously we got the pandemic as well, so we lost our perm business at the same time. I don't. We were sort of having our heels clipped one by one, and then we got to this stage. So I think we'll see that bounce back. It'll take a bit of time, and clearly the business is not worth what it was 4 months, 5 months ago. But it doesn't change our outlook and our strategy, and that strategy was all around being market leaders in personalized career management and talent acquisition, and personalized being the operative word. It's commoditizing the recruitment process and understanding that organizations, most recruitment companies will go in and they'll say, our standard fees are 20-25%, and then it's a song and dance about what margin you agree to. Yeah. And ultimately nothing has changed, just the margin. That you're always going to get the same level of service it's just a case of who blinked first in the negotiation process. So what we recognise is that clients of all sizes want different levels of service, and they want different parts of the recruitment process, and we wanted to own more of the recruitment budget. So we know full well that yes, they'll come to us, if you've got an internal recruitment team, they don't need you to do the end-to-end process. They've got a recruitment consultant in there doing part of the job for you. So that's why they want you to pay. They want to charge less, pay less for 15% or whatever, because they just need you to find the candidates. They then take hold of that process. There are clients out there that want end-to-end. They want the full sort of mini RPO service. They want you to do all the advertising, the brand management. They want, or do all of the interview setting up, all of those sorts of things, as well as the background screening, the training and the development, of those candidates. So we've broken down the recruitment into components. Almost sort of gold, silver, bronze. We're not calling it that, but it, in that sort of method where we say, okay, this is what you can get. If you want to pay less for your recruitment, this is what you get. We're happy to do, your 10%. That's almost like your right moves of the world and saying, well, or Purple Bricks rather. If you want to handle it yourself, then yeah, we'll charge you less, basically. Whereas if you want the full service, then this is what it's going to cost, or which part of this service don't you want?
What I would say is, I'm a complete believer in this is the way to go in terms of productization of your service and understanding what actually happens as part of your service and where the value is. Recruitment can't always just be valued on the end result. To me, it's just no win, no fee is not the future. But what I do think, how do you feel about the element of sheer competition so if you're going into an organization saying, well, you want to pay 10%, so we'll give you 10% worth of, and then your competition are going, well, we'll just do it for 11%, the whole thing. How do you think that's the biggest risk to this model? Is it, and are you prepared for that?
Yeah, no, it's not a race to the bottom. It's about being able to provide a bespoke service, right? So, and the example I always use is that if you want to buy a TV, right, you can buy the same TV from lots of different outfits, but and for me personally, provided the prices, because they will match it. If I went to John Lewis, right, it feels better, right? It feels like a nicer brand. Not only have you got experts in there that give you, really good advice on the product, they give you an additional warranty on the service, and they'll price match. Now, the only thing that's changed there is the service and the value add. Yeah. So, and in some cases, you might even be prepared to pay a little bit more because it feels right. Now, the difference there really, and to answer your question, is that if it comes down to exclusivity, okay, and it comes down to the relationship with that client. Now, we recognise they might have relationships with other clients, but it's about being transparent in that process. We're saying, you're going to get us for this particular time, yeah? And we're able to do that, and this is where the specialism comes in, because we get that economy of scale. Because we're only focusing on one particular type of role with you, we can afford to flex our margin, but as long as we get that exclusivity with you, either wholly or maybe one of two agencies. But the point of that is that the recruitment aspect, the core aspects of recruitment are being automated these days, right? You can do that really, really quickly. So if you can do that, anyone with a bit of technology or a bit of investment in their recruitment strategy, could put an advert out through LinkedIn or somewhere else, particularly now, and get lots of great candidates, right? So if they can do that for next to nothing, for what, £500 advert, why would they pay nearly 4 times that to use an agency? And that's what I think recruiters miss out on, is that they're not paying you because you're providing you with a really great service. They're paying you because it's, I need you to do something for me, and I don't have the time to do it, or we don't have the capability to do it internally. That's what they're paying for. And I think a lot of recruiters do forget that, is that they don't have the time, the money, or the resources to do that part of the recruitment process, and that's what they're outsourcing. And often, when we sit with our clients, is that they say, how much does it cost extra for background screening? And we say, well, what do you mean? It's part of the process. They said, well, no, the other recruiter charged me 20%, and they don't do background screening. That we've got to do that. And it's that expectation versus reality that that often gets missed out on. So yeah, it's I don't think it's a case of everyone just, if anything, we're trying to avoid that. What we're trying to do is say, if you want to do it cheaply, then you can do it cheaply, but you have to bear in mind you have to do some of that part of the process. And if you want to layer on the service, that's where we add the value. And then the client, much like you said, is that you lay out exactly what you're going to get, and this is how much it's going to cost. If you want more, it's going to cost more. Most people understand that model, but recruitment has always been this dark art, and you get sent a load of terms, and no one really knows what they're signing up to until something goes wrong, and that's when it gets into a bit of a bum fight.
I love it. I think professionalization of our sector and the way we operate. I mean, I was tagged in a post by a guy I had on the podcast, one of my clients, Chris Redmond, today actually on LinkedIn, and I loved it. He was talking about how he's excited with the new era that the recruitment sector is going into, where there is a bad name across them. We know there's a bad name. There's a big cloud above recruiters that exists, but the reality of that old school, there's still loads of people like that. But there is, the reason I love this industry so much is because I can deal with the guys that are like you. They're the ones that are trying to change things, that are professionalizing, that are seeing their service as a real value add, and are proud. Like my stepmom, I don't even know if she listens to this, right? But she's if she does, I might get a message. But she's an SEO expert. Doesn't work with Hoxo, which is funny. But she's an SEO expert, and she how did I put it? She was basically slagging off recruiters a few years ago when I was still a recruiter. And I remember it really well. I said to her, they're not all like that. We're not all. And she was like, no, I've never had a good experience. Like, I just don't want to use them. And I was like, oh, cool. I said, so you do SEO, right? And this was a time where I didn't know as much about it as I do now. She's like, yeah. I was like, would you rate yourself in SEO? She's like, well, yeah. And I was like, cool. So is everyone as good as you in SEO? She was like, no. I was like, why? Well, some people they cut corners. She basically explained the same shit. Yeah. So I was like, all right, cool. So I said, well, I would value myself in recruitment like you value yourself in SEO. So I know there's loads of people that don't do it, but this is how I operate, and this is why I've done well. And I don't even know if she got it. I don't know if she even paid attention. but it's amazing how like other sectors and other industries are so quick to jump on us.
Always, yeah.
But how often have you had a shit service elsewhere? How often have you? I had a builder that ran away after I gave him the cash 3 weeks before the job was finished. That doesn't mean every builder's a shark. No, there's a lot of them.
And that's the thing, right? That's why we flick to the candidate experience, because it's a vanity metric. Everyone, if you survey all of your clients saying, do we provide a great service? They're going to say, well, yeah, you fill my jobs. And hopefully you're providing them with reasonably good CVs, because most recruiters are good at what they do. They understand. They look for a match. And if they match, they send the CV across. So even if the client interviews them, they know that they're interviewing because they've got the right skills. Okay, but the bit that most recruiters miss out on is the culture fit. Okay, and the personality profiling of that individual, and this is going to be a big wave in recruitment now, is hiring for soft skills. There is a candidate short market, in every sector, but I lose count every time I meet a candidate. Even in my sector, I still meet candidates and in cybersecurity, and I'm amazed by how many people I meet, and they go to me, "You're the first recruiter I've ever met," and I'm like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah, I've dealt with lots of recruiters, but I've never met them." I'm like, "Wow, okay." And it's such a simple thing to do. Again, it's not possible to see everyone, but meeting your candidates is a really critical part of that process. And the reason, to your point, is that recruiters don't focus on the candidates. So the mass part of what they do is the bit that they're not looking after, and that's why the mass part of the industry thinks recruiters are crap, because the people that rely on their service more than anyone is the candidate, and yet the clients are few and far between, as we know, and that's why it's so competitive.
Interesting that. Yeah. But because there's people that looking at things like Trustpilot, and there's a new brand coming into the market. I'm actually interviewing for the podcast this week called Saucer, that are an Australian brand that it's all about maintaining your reputation as an agency. But again, you know what? You're so right, because if you could say we've got, I don't know, 4.5 stars out of 5, or 5 to 8, 9.5 out of 10 from candidates from every candidate that goes to interview, they rate us. that surely will have a knock-on effect to your business development, because if you can say to a customer, do you want us managing your brand, when we guarantee this is our candidate experience metrics, we will fill the job, because everyone will fill the job eventually, but we'll also do it in a way that your brand is, because if we piss off the 5 candidates that were interviewed, or the 5 that didn't even get put forward to interview, they still know the name of your company as who we're representing. So it has a knock-on impact to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really love what you've done, mate. I think it's such a clever way of thinking.
And we do that. So we provide that metric. So on our website, all of the candidate references are all genuine. They're updated on a monthly basis. So we survey all of our candidates, and that's everyone in the process. So we don't just survey the one that got the job, because again, that's a vanity metric. Because of course they're happy, they got the job, they applied for it, they got it. It's a winning mentality. But it's the ones that didn't get the job, like you say, that go away. And what we say to our clients is that, this is your candidate pool. So that, yes, they're not right for you right now, but they may be right for you in the future. You saw something enough in that person's CV to interview them. If they go away, with a bad experience, they're not going to have a go at us. They're going to have a go. They're considering your brand, that they're not going to, and they're going to go and tell their friends. And if we use the pandemic R0 rate, if they go and tell one of 3 of their people and they infect 3 people, and they infect 3 people. I've had it before, even with some of my clients. Oh no, I won't work there. Why not? Well, I've got some people that went for an interview there and said it was really crap. Oh right, okay, but have you been there? No. Well, why don't you find out and you tell me whether it's, how bad it is. Okay, yeah, that's a fair point. But we tell our clients that, and we're able to demonstrate it. So the process, we'll share with them the feedback through the surveys, and say to them, this is what your candidates are saying about you. It's not us. This is what they're saying about you. Little things from waiting in the being held too long in the corridor, or being sent to or the interview didn't turn up on time, or didn't know my name, hadn't read my CV. All of these little things. Yeah. These are the things that make you win and lose talent. So it's a really powerful message to say, this is what people are saying about your company. And depending on who you show that information to, obviously has more resonance, but certainly, across your HR teams and, even your marketing teams, this is what it's Glassdoor basically, but at a real granular level.
100%. Well, look, Pete, I've got about 5 minutes, right? And I think I could carry on talking about this for a long time. And I think we need to have a part 2, 100%, and get into more of this. But so moving forward after the pandemic, what's the future look like for identifi Global?
Yeah, so it really hangs off our strategy of being personalised career management talent acquisition. It's around doing that. So one of the things we're implementing is our training and development program, where we'll be offering free training courses, development courses. One of the things we're looking to do is offer a free 12-month development course for all candidates that we place, as well as offering courses at a reasonable cost to we don't want to become a trainer. We want to pass on the savings that we can get from mass purchases to our candidate network and feed them into that ecosystem. And then developing our more tailored approach to our clients, both current and future. So it's about focusing on that and expanding our brand. We've got some other things in the pipeline where we are looking at other businesses as well, and we want to expand it into more of a group structure, but still remaining in that sort of specialist format.
Love it. Well, look, thanks so much, mate. I'm getting a vibe that I think some people will reach out to you after this and want to find out a bit more about how you've actually done what you've done. Are you open to that with the recruitment?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, look, it's candidate experience and the stuff we're doing. I mean, I'm a career recruiter, and I'm passionate about recruitment, and I believe in sending the elevator back down and bringing things up. I'm not saying that we're perfect and we're the best thing in the market. Quite the opposite. I'm just saying that we're striving forward and we're trying to improve the brand of the industry, and we'll do that with anybody that wants to be part of it, because you know what, there's people out there that I learn from. There's people doing great things, and I wouldn't necessarily be in this position if I hadn't learned from other people as well. So I'm absolutely open to that, and sharing whatever I can.
Legend. Well, thank you so much, guys. If you want to reach out, Pete, I'll tag him in this post, and he'll get back to you on that. And thanks again for listening. I hope you Hope you're all staying safe. Hope you're enjoying the weather this week, and I hope that you're feeling that the market is becoming better. There's definitely a lot of signs out there that there's more work to coming through, and there's some hope in the industry right now, especially in the UK. So I'm hoping you're feeling that. I'll be back again tomorrow with some more insights. In the meantime, stay safe, and I'll see you soon.